What's going on, guys? It's Christian from Stock Hours. Today I want to talk about one of the easiest ways to get started as a day trader, and that's going to be by following signals and trade ideas from somebody who's proven to be consistently profitable over a long time. So when I first joined Stock Hours, I would basically just look at what Nour and Maki were signaling and then basically take those trades. And then a problem that I had was later on in the day, I would take my own trades and give back a lot of those profits. But had I just stuck to the signals that they gave and understood why they took those trades instead of just taking random trades after that, then I would have a much better system in my own strategy. So, something that you want to look for when you're following signals or looking at trade ideas is understanding the setup and the approach behind each of those different signals. So, when we give trade ideas in Stock Hours Discord, we will show you the time frame where some of the levels come from. So I'll show you some examples from today. So here we are, Stock Hours Discord. So when you come to these trade ideas, we post our ideas every day in the morning, what we're looking at for the day. So the trade that we took today was on NVIDIA. So Nour was looking at the 845 break to the upside, and he said it has room to 850. And then he says that the calls we're looking at. So as a beginner, he makes it very easy to understand the level we're looking for, the contracts we're looking to play, and obviously the stock that we're looking at. But also on mic, we're going to go more into detail of the setup we're looking for and whether we want to take it when it even comes to that level or not. So let me show you kind of how I approach on the 1 minute. So this was today's trade. He said 845 to the upside. So something that you have to keep in mind is that right off open is going to be a lot riskier. So I'll just draw a level at 845 just so we can see it. So we do see that it did break right off open. However, if you were listening on mic, we didn't take this trade because there were enough red flags telling us that we should wait for a better setup. So for example, right off open, we saw that NQ is basically dumping while NVIDIA is holding up. So that's not necessarily a bad sign. However, seeing how sellers are stepping in this whole area, that is a red flag considering that NQ is also dumping with it. Maybe if NQ is moving in our direction and NVIDIA is already strong, then we might consider taking that trade. But we had basically no sign that NQ was going to reverse. So we waited. We didn't take this trade right off open. And if you did, obviously it would have went against you pretty much right away. This ended up being like an $8 drop from this 845 level. But when you come to the signals tab, for example, day trade signals, you can see that Nour did signal buying NVIDIA calls at 836, and then he signaled the sell later. So 836, that is right here. So let's say we got it right there. So you can see when we did take it, it did break out pretty much right away. I took this trade here, and this ended up being like a 15 to 20% move depending on where you got your sell. If you did hold longer, he said the target in the trade ideas and pre-market plan was 850, which it did end up hitting. And you probably wouldn't have ever went red on this position if you held through this little pullback. But that's one reason why sticking to trading signals as a beginner and the trade ideas that we have are going to help a lot as a trader, because when you're listening to somebody who's been trading for a very long time, they're going to know a lot better than someone who's just getting into the market of when to skip a trade versus when to take the trade. So for example, right off open, I'm sure a lot of beginners probably took this trade here and then got stopped out pretty quick, versus Nour obviously told us on mic why he was skipping it off open and then why he ended up taking it later on, which ended up working out very easily. So that's one reason why using signals can help you as a beginner. You can understand in real time certain things that you should look out for, whether it's on green trades or red trades. Another way how you can use signals to help boost your trading career is by backtesting different signals and trying to understand different setups and when they happen. So you can literally scroll through. Let me just open this. So you can literally just scroll through all these past signals that we've had. So obviously there's like a ton of them. So you can go back to like Friday, we traded Meta, we traded AMD. So you can go back to those signals and try to understand different setups at the time. And the more you look at different setups and executions, then you'll know what to look out for when the market's actually open, when you're looking to take your own trades at some of your own levels. So that's one thing you can look at. Another thing, like I said before, we post our trade ideas here. So you can go through all these trade ideas and try to see why we might like certain levels on different stocks. So for example, Tesla here at 203.50, you can see that we have multiple tests in that area. So that's why we were looking at something like that. And when you find certain patterns like this on stocks, then you'll know that some of those setups might be worth trading, or at least worth mentioning to some of your other traders in the chat. And then another thing that's really not talked about enough, but stop losses on trading signals, especially as a beginner, it'll help out a lot, because let's say you were taking a trade here and you didn't know where to stop out, and imagine that we took the trade, we would tell you a good area to set a stop loss where we wouldn't want to see price action dip below. So obviously we didn't take it here, but if you got in here, our stop loss would have been basically $1 from our entry. If it dipped any below that, then it's honestly a red flag, and then it's pretty much enough for us to get out of the trade. So seeing that our stop loss on this was $1, and ideally our target was 850, we did get out a little earlier, but you could have held till 850 and not had enough red flags to get out. That would have been a really good risk to reward on a trade like that if you got in at 845. So basically, by following trading signals and trade ideas, you'll learn in real time how to understand price action and identify a stop loss based off of the chart, instead of just I'm down $200, I'm down $500, I want to get out of this trade. You can look at it from a more educated point of view and say, okay, if we dip below 844, 843 area, then that's going to be a good time to get out of this trade, to limit your loss as much as possible, instead of just holding till low of day and then hoping that it holds. If it doesn't, then getting out there for a much bigger loss where it's going to be a lot harder to make back. Another thing that you're going to want to, in the long term, do with signals is try to get your own entries on some of our trade ideas. So for me, something that helped out a lot was, one, obviously knowing the level that we want to trade for the day on whatever stock it is. So 845 on Nvidia, that was our level, so just jot that out. So obviously knowing the level. Now the next thing that you want to be able to do is identify an area where you think would be a good entry based off of the approach and the price action into that level. So for me today, I basically just drew like a little downtrend right here, and then when I saw momentum breaking out above it, I was getting in at like 843.50 ish, so right around here. You could have waited for the high, you could have got in earlier, but for me, I saw the momentum into that high, so it was easy to get in here. And something that you want to try to do, or if you see yourself doing this, then you definitely know you're on the right path. But if you get into a trade and then a couple seconds later you hear Nour say I'm in, then you know that you and Nour are both looking at the same things, and it tells you that you're on the right path to become a profitable trader, at least as a scalper, which is the strategy that Nora usually sticks to. So something you want to think about when you're trading signals is going to be if the signal fits your risk tolerance. So for example, on Nvidia or Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Meta, a lot of those, it's going to be very easy to limit your risk. But let's say if we're signaling SMCI, so those contracts are usually more expensive than average or than the other stocks that we trade, and it has a little bit wider of a spread. So if you get stopped out on a trade like that, it might be a bigger than average loss. So that might be something that you would want to skip out on, but you can still watch it to understand price action, understand momentum on different stocks. But if it doesn't fit your risk profile, then you shouldn't take every trade. If you have a set of rules and a specific signal doesn't fit that, then you might want to skip it and just watch it just to see how it plays out. But over time, you want to build basically a rule book based off of everything you've learned, based off of the past trades you've taken, based off of the back testing you've done on signals, to have your own strategy. But it can all be built around how past signals have played out, how past trade ideas have played out, and from what you've seen taking trades before, reading momentum, reading price action. So that's going to be something you want to do over time. And the easiest way to do it is by basically taking trades, with a chat in the beginning, and then over time kind of diverging and then creating your own strategy based off of what you've learned from us. So that's basically how I feel like trading signals and trade ideas can help boost your trading career, especially as a beginner. If you guys like the video, make sure you leave a like and a comment down below. But I'll see you guys soon. Peace.